Ladies, gentlemen, and our NB comrades, welcome back here to the South American lower division of the DPC. We are continuing with this hype, continuing with this action, continuing with the journey into the upper division, and potentially for one of these teams, the journey to TI. We'll see how all of that goes. And this game is going to be electric. The two teams right now sitting at the top of the leaderboard. Infinity on the one side, Balrog Esports on the other side. It's going to be a cracker of a matchup. And to bring you the action, it's going to be myself, Snare, with the expert, the man who knows everything about South American Dota there is to know. Astini, welcome. So glad to finally work with you. How are you feeling today and how you feel about this here matchup?
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here with you. It's a pleasure to be casting this match that I'm very excited to see, especially after Wolf lost. This feels like the team that wins here might guarantee their spot on first division. I know it's still the third round, but both sitting on 2-0. It's a very important match, and we might be seeing the best two teams on that second division that might go to the first division.
Before we get into the draft though, right? Before you see anything, this is one of these things where often nowadays Dota is extremely draft-centric, but just off the basis of your intuition from what you've seen and from the secret you have from the scrims behind the scenes, who are you predicting? Who do you think has the better chance of taking this matchup directly?
Balrogs. I think they'll pick Medusa right now when we move to the picks. And since they have that, they start with first pick. I believe they might win the first game and get some momentum for the series that might be very helpful for them. But Infinity, they're super good. So it's not like just saying Balrogs will win. It's going to be an amazing match. But I feel like Balrogs, they have more of a comfort zone.
All right, let's see if Balrogs, the creatures from the deep of Minas Morgul? No, I actually don't remember. Anyway, let's get into it. The first draft is on. It's going to be Affinity versus Balrogs. Let's see what we have for ourselves here.
go for mid laner and put Kunkka as 3. Okay.
Night Stalker.
So,
Okay. Okay. Last pick, Night Stalker. Alrighty. I suppose, you know, you're all playing with Mirana. I wanted to actually bring this up earlier and say that whenever we see this Mirana, Disruptor, these sort of heroes that want to be able to either create or play around Vision, Night Stalker is like a natural complement to that. It gets added to the mix now, and it shows up here at the very end of the draft. I don't know if I fully like it. It does feel like the timing for Infinity requires them to have very good lanes, and if they don't, I really don't want to see what this team looks like if they're playing catch-up. It feels like they don't have the easiest time playing from behind, and it does feel like they need so many items for them to be able to get the effective jump here onto this Medusa. Feels like it's going to be a little bit of a hard one for them to achieve in that regard.
it feels like a good Night Stalker game if you look at the enemy team. Like, it's super good against that backline to jump in the Wyvern, the Sky, provides vision for his team. But on the other hand, I see, like, if I have Kunkka, TA, Ogre, you want to just like fight non-stop because you're not on any cooldowns. That's the beauty about TA, is like a hard carry that you are not relying on any cooldowns. But on the other hand, Night Stalker, it feels like you can fight every 5 minutes. So if it's daytime, okay, you have your ultimate for a while, but you feel so powerless. I don't know if I like how it fits on that lineup, especially feeling that they're playing against the clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm also trying not to do this. You know, sometimes you see these lost picks and you don't feel really that positive about them. And you can wind up in the situation where you become very, very negative, right? You wind up just being like, oh gosh, this is just going to go south. So I do think that the one positive thing that I really do like about the Night Stalker is it's not a lane where, yes, you don't win against the Medusa by any stretch of the imagination, but you should have enough help with the Mirana not to die. And with Mirana being able to, for the most part, get stacks going from you from pretty far away. She doesn't actually have to be always in the lane. She can still be effective getting that triangle active. Feels like they are a little bit all in on the laning phase, but it does feel like if they win the laning phase, then they can just snowball. This is the kind of draft, like you said, they can fight all the time. And if Night Stalker has a really good time early, the game does not feel easy for Balrogs. They'll be under a lot of pressure if that happens. But they need to make it happen. So we've got game one. We're underway. You favored Balrogs before we came into this one, Astini. You still feel the same way?
Yeah, I favored Balrogs, but definitely Infinity can pull it. I'd say it's 60-40 to Balrogs. That's my feeling to that match with that draft.
All right, and with 60-40, we are now underway. Let's see how things are going to go here as Balrogs. Off to a good start already, getting a nice little D-ward at the very beginning of the game. You always feel very good when you're able to make this happen. You might not need to get a first blood for yourself, but just having a little bit of bonus gold. Who do they give it to? They give it to Draken. I like this. You know, sometimes you see these LCs get sacked and abandoned by their teams, but in this instance, they're making sure that, hey, here's a little bit of gold for you before you start your game, you know? It's like when you go visit family and your grandma's like, oh, here's a couple bucks, go buy some sweets. Also,
So I guess we had this string muted for draft.
Yeah,
just for the feedback. No?
I fixed the issue. I know exactly what the problem was, but the problem should have gone away. We should be completely fine now. Everything's cool. Everything's cool. Besides, you know how it is. This is Dota 2. We didn't start with a pause, Astini, so we had to have a technical issue. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
So, which of these lanes here are you expecting us to have to concentrate on the most for the biggest amount of action? You know, I don't think it's going to be this mid lane, you know. It's Kunkka, Mars, whatever. Just trade farm, boys. Who cares? This bottom lane, you know, LC with Skywrath Mage versus the TA and Ogre. You were talking about the fact that the Ogre pick will naturally lead into a TA because of the amount you can get in the laning phase. How do you feel about it now? Are they going to lose Pampalone in the top lane? Infinity almost got first blooded. They'll end up losing a courier, but Pamplona very happy to rather lose a courier. He got the salve off of it, so it's fine. It's not so bad. But he can't get the other one delivered in very easily, so there's a bit more pressure up on top. But Yeah, this bottom lane, talk to us about it, Astini. What are we expecting to happen on this side of the map?
Yeah, usually when you see Sky and Legion, you really expect that lane to win, and I believe they will get more farm out of that, but the idea here is that Ogre soak up all the damage, so TA can still free farm no matter if like he's dying to open that space. It should be a okay trade-off if Ogre has to die to guarantee that Parker is gonna able to farm. That's what they should be looking here for, but they need to be careful because they can actually kill the TA if they don't play properly.
Yep. These Gareth mage lanes, very contingent on positioning and making sure that you do not overextend. So for now, Parker's still doing a decent job. Haven't seen any of the HP pools dip down too deep. And also, Zisha doing a very good job going in to block this camp. Might end up dying for this though. Parker comes out with a Meld Strike, and they're just going to abandon the poor Skyrath mage. Should be our first blood. Fairy Fire will delay this a little bit. They will be forced to commit the Fairy Fire or the Fire Blast from this Ogre. But Parker, good on the chase, finds first blood. Great way to start the game. And we'll buy some boots for it. You know, a little bit of retail therapy to open up the game here for the Templar Assassin.
Yeah, it's super good for TA to get first blood. That's not what you expect from that hero, especially against Sky Legion. So already a very good start for Parker. Maybe a reason they should maybe respect that hero. It's his best hero during the tournament that every team has been respecting.
We'll see in the next game if they do decide to respect Bennett and how they deal with it here in this opening game one. So we take another look here in the top lane. We almost had Pamplona dying earlier on this Mirana. The lane itself, it's obviously going to be this Winter Wyvern and Mirana's trying to trade hits with one another, but they've done a pretty good job of enabling the Deucer to get her farm here, and there's a lot of harass that they've been throwing onto Mariano. They have the Splinter Blast, Arctic Burn. This is a strength hero, so you do take quite a bit of damage from all these spells, and Burner's been very happy with how things have gone for him so far. Hasn't had to do all that much except sit back, hit creeps, throw out a snake every now and then. You know, Sexy Ogoe is tanking all the damage from Pamplona. You're practically full HP as this Deucer right now. Life is good. Life is good.
Yeah, one thing that should matter on the results of that side lane is actually if Mirana can help TA and they don't go for the Deucer. And if Sky can help Deucer. What is that? It's with stacks. So you can see Skyref's going for stacks now and Mirana isn't. I guess PP will just spot that his Ancient is blocked. So at least on that side, Balrogs, they're doing somehow a better job because they already stacked one camp and dewarded the Ancient.
Yeah. Definitely setting themselves up for success here, and certainly it is the case that when you play with Medusa, you simply cannot afford to ignore the big stacks all across the map. This is a huge source of income for this hero, so they need to make sure that they achieve it for themselves. And like you mentioned, Mirana, Pamplona, we haven't seen him do the same just yet, but the camps are blocked currently, or at least the Ancient stack is, so wouldn't be an effective use of time just now, but you still have TA in the safe lane. At some point, we should see them make that move. We'll wait and see what happens after the Sentry Ward finally expires, but we now finally, Astini, we don't have a choice. We have to talk about it. It's boring as hell, nothing happening, trade farm mid lane. Gosh, this is just two strength heroes wailing at each other, barely doing any damage. Both of them have bottle. They've both been getting water runes. It feels like until there's a big rotation, nothing actually happens in this lane, right?
Yeah, but it's gonna get some action at the 6 minutes mark because the hero that guarantees the power-up rune is gonna have so much advantage. That's when you might expect PP to go try to steal that stacks. So that might be a reason that you don't stack if you play to actually steal enemy stacks, and it's something that I can see they're doing while they go for the Duza. Berna might be in trouble.
Alright, the Void will come out. Will they follow that up with the Sacred Arrow? Indeed they do. Starfall comes out. Oof, unlucky with the secondary bounce. It hits onto a creep. If that hits Burner, we might be staring at a dead Medusa right now, but unfortunately for the side of Infinity, the RNG not with them just yet. Burner manages to live, gets a shared tango. They don't have an additional salve though, so this will be some time that they can play with the aggression on this side of the map. So things are going to look good for the next minute or two here for Mariano, expecting this Night Stalker to really pick up this CS while the Medusa is so weak.
Meanwhile, Skyref denies the haste rune, so at least Kanka doesn't get that extra regen, but we have this guy.
Yep, he's gonna miss the boat actually after the X. It didn't connect flush, so Jisha still alive. The Tidebringer hit will come out. Fire Blast does ensure that PP can make the rundown happen. A lot closer than they wanted it to be, honestly, but they ultimately do manage to find themselves the kill. And exactly like you mentioned, here we go in with the steal on these stacks. PP's like, hey, thanks, Gareth Mage. You know, shout out for your hard work. You get to get killed and you get to give up the stack you made. Awesome. This is a great way to start your game.
Yeah, it was a misinterpretation of mine. I thought Sky was helping Deuce out, but seems like he was helping the Kanka with those stacks.
Agent Skywrath Mage, you know, in this game. And with the haste rune deny, though, it does make sure that Kunkka doesn't make a big move, but it also kind of landlocks Robo-Z to the side of the map, right? As Mars, you don't really have, without like a haste rune, an invis rune, you can't just really TP onto the tower and expect to be able to find a good arena at this stage of the game with this hero. Not the same way as Kunkka can drag a hero back. As they're making this rotation, do they have a chance to get this kill in the top lane, Astini?
I think they will get a kill, especially because Berna, he's spotted. Still think he's gonna die.
Let's see if he's gonna get brought down here. He's juking, he's jiving, he's still alive. They will trigger out the Dark Ascension. Burner doing everything in his power to flee, but Sacred Arrow will make the connection, and they have the flapping vision, so easy kill. Pamplona now off to a decent enough start here from getting that bonus gold from the Medusa kill. Failed on the last attempt, but this time with the assistance of PP, they make this happen.
Parker mate.
Parker, inside the first arena of the game, but they don't seem to have the follow-up damage just yet. Parker still fully alive. Here comes the additional spells from Skywrath, finally able to get the kill. Winter Wyvern also showed up to render some assistance. That might put some danger out onto this Ogre. And Draken coming in, looking for the duel attempt. Should be able to find it. Duel onto Ogre. Both only hits this Winter Wyvern, but they have enough to win the duel elsewhere, right in front of the tier 1 tower. PP rushes forward with the Tidebringer Cleave, will eliminate the Winter Wyvern. So they do manage to at least take the life of the Wyvern, but it does come at the cost of both Parker and their own Ogre, and giving up dual damage. Balrogs here, Astini, they strike back, and they strike back hard.
Yeah, it was really weird move by Parker. I was just watching him, like, hoping for the worst, because the worst was clear. Like, Mars was just looking at his face, and he was standing there farming on the low ground. I don't know if he was baiting something, but yeah, he baited. They initiated on him and got the kill.
Looks like Infinity want to try to get kills elsewhere on the map to make up for what happened in this mid lane. You move top for this Winter Wyvern. Yogoe trying to flap away. Oh, Arctic Burn save. Actually, will keep him alive. The Sacred Arrow doesn't connect. And after they've used Arrow and X from PP, they actually don't have that much lockdown on the side of Infinity if the Ogre isn't right next to the person with Fire Blast. So just a nice clean escape on top and a little bit of wasted time for this Kunkka. You know, always feels good when the enemy mid laner is not really getting much, but fortunately for them, Mariano stuck around long enough that they still do clean up the kill onto the Wyvern.
And meanwhile, they're chasing Drakel, but they didn't get a kill for the TA. Still, Parker has a nice game. He already has the Dragonlance. They are really removing Duza's space of farm, of course. She does have the triangle, but even there, like, the Ogre is trying to annoy a bit on that farm.
Yep. He is going to use his body, physically block the camp, not allow another stack to be achieved here for Burner. And we were talking earlier about how necessary it is for this Medusa to get these stacks. And we're seeing that reflected in the net worth, right? She's had so many of her stacks either stolen away or access to them blocked off by the movements of Infinity. And as a result, she's practically bottom of the course. The only hero poorer than her is this Legion Commander, who is also going to show up. Draken looking for a dual kill. It's going to happen, of course. Even before they have Mystic Flare, it's fairly easy for them to get these dual victories. Now plus 20 damage. The question is, can they utilize this to try and open up some more space on the map? They feel really closed in and claustrophobic right now, so tier 1 tower bottom needs to fall, but Astini, it's not easy for them to make these pushes without the Dusa showing up.
Yeah, and even though they get a duo on Ogre, I feel like he's happy about it, because he was just like staying on enemy triangle, trying to remove space from them, scouting 3-4 heroes. So they're pretty aware of that move of Balrogs, and Dusa just showed me, so if they would like to defend, they can. and they do have Dark Ascension. They are smoking to that direction. Feels like they want to fight here.
Yep. Whether or not the tier 1 tower survives feels immaterial. They want to get some kills. Parker still farming in the jungle whilst PP is trying to open up the aggressive space. They're going to go on a little bit of a longer wrap here to make sure that the smoke doesn't break too early. And we now get also the first Moonlight Shadow of the game here, Astini. We're going to see how it goes. Mariano opens up the fight with the Crippling Fear, Dark Ascension. Won't be able to find a big target. They do get the drag back onto Winter Wyvern. However, Pamplona couldn't really find a good target just yet with the Sacred Arrow. They'll isolate Robo-Z, but there's going to be Draken with the press the attack. Absolutely no way to keep that chase going. So they defend the tower. Doesn't feel like the biggest use of their resources, or rather the best one. But they at least cancel the Robo-Z TP out as well. As Parker, he's trying to solo kill Burner. He's going to go for this. He's going to be able to do it. And they're still going to look for the fight. Robo-Z gets out the arena. Boat though crashes in on his face. And PP able to get the kill. In a short span of time, on two sides of the map, they find two big cores. The mid and the safe lane are both down for the count. Infinity really looking solid on this map right now.
Yeah, Parker getting that solo kill into Berna, that made such a huge difference because they're like 4 heroes on it. He's going for Sexy Yogi.
Wow.
And he's dead.
Wow, he's got him. Wow, okay.
Yeah, like no matter if Infinity wins this match or not, I'm pretty sure Balrogs will ban that hero. Like, I'm not sure to what point my mic was muted, but what I told is like, if you don't ban it, they are picking it. It was like 100% sure that we were going to see that TA even on a second phase. I don't think you should allow a team as good as Infinity to get their biggest comfort. Look at the net worth of Parker. They're like 5k ahead.
Yep. Parker is really far ahead, and Medusa has been catching up somewhat with her net worth, but she's still 2.5k behind the pace of this Templar Assassin. The full Desolator is done. The only reason she doesn't have it right now is that her courier died on the tier 1 tower, bringing her this first Mithril Hammer, but she has the full D-Lance, full Deso complete, farming very well into getting this Blink Dagger. And her team is buying space around this Roshan area. We've already seen here in this DPC of South America that these teams, when they have the ability to take Roshan and the ability to control the area, they don't delay, they don't wait. They make it happen as early as possible. So Infinity very soon will look like they're the team to do that. There's the Deso arriving, and there's no reason not to get into the Roshan pit. Tumbler's Toy to open it up. We're going to have the big man getting taken away. Does Balrogs try to counterplay this Astini, or do they just try and instead maybe get a push down on this bottom lane?
They won't be here in time. They should just ignore it, try to show the mid lane at least, so when Infinity is done with it, they don't have waves near towers. Yeah, really difficult situation because now Infinity is gonna go for the tier 2 tower, and I'm not sure if they're able to take 2 lives out of this TA. Even with Mars having a DD rune, that might be the cue for them to take the fight, but it's very dangerous. If they don't win that fight, they're gonna lose the game like in 20 minutes.
All right, let's see. They will utilize this double damage rune. They don't have an armlet or anything on Robo-Z to provision that damage, so the rune itself will have to do. Sentry gets dropped, and they don't want to go for this instant D-ward just yet. Zisha, will it get cancelled out on the smoke? Okay, there we go. Big jump in coming in from Robo-Z. Heroes caught inside the arena. They find the Kunkka first. He's already gone. Mariano shows up with the Crippling Fear, trying to help onto Sexy Goe, but nothing doing just yet. Burner opens up space with the Stone Gaze. Will be able to freeze up this Night Stalker on the high ground, but he still has spells. Going back in, looking for the Scarab Mage. A beautiful use of the Cold Embrace to buy some time here. Sky, though, should still end up falling. They get a Winter's Curse, but it connects onto literally nobody. The saddest Winter's Curse of all time. And Burner didn't get the clean escape either. He's stuck behind the tier 2 tower, where the tier 2 tower used to be. In the middle of the fight, Astini, they take the tier 2 and they kill Burner. Oh, that is... You were talking they could lose the fight. That is worse than losing the fight. Losing the Medusa is just terrible. Sure, you got the Kunkka kill, but the fact that Parker gets to stay alive, involved in that whole fight, dish out 1.5k damage, and you do nothing, not even take the first life away from this TA, this is rough place to be in right now for the side of Balrogs.
Yeah, I feel like some concepts, some things don't understand is not because the other team wants to fight, that you should accept that fight, you know? So if Infinity feels strong enough to fight, that usually means you don't have to. Oh, the duo may run up, might be at least something.
Yep.
But, okay.
Oh wow, but Parker is turning this into a whole lot of nothing, you know, some dual damage. Immediately though, they get the kill onto the Skywrath Mage and then the Winter Wyvern. Certainly not worth it simply for the +10 because he's not even level 12 just yet on Draken. And look how unafraid Parker is. Jumping forward, Burner gets off the Stone Gaze, but the boat will still crash onto your face with the Torrent. Press the attack comes out, but it does not matter. The Meld Strike more than enough damage. Mariano might die on the high ground, indeed he does, but RoboZ very quickly follows him into the grave, and Parker trying to send more of his friends to say hello. Will back off at the last second, but all right, absolutely no way should Parker ever be allowed to play Templar Assassin. This is a bit much at this point in time. 11k net worth. He's 5k up, not just ahead of the enemy team, but up on the enemy Medusa. How on earth is he ever supposed to catch up?
Yeah, I don't think whoever, especially because of what I was saying, like they don't understand that they can't just keep fights. They have like Wyvern, amazing clear wave. They have Legion Commander with the overwhelming odds. They have ways of clearing those creeps so they don't get to the tower, but they keep dying.
Yep. You know, one thing about those spells you were mentioning here, Astini, is that they're best used from the high ground when you're in a defensive position already. Not really all that great when you're on the low ground, surrounded directly in the face by the TA. And it seems like a difficult game right now for Balrogs. Draken also showing down bottom, has blink in a few seconds. Should be able to use it and get... Oh, Draken, leave the creep. No, Draken, it ain't worth it. Draken, no! Blink, my friend. Blink. Oh, Draken's dead. Got too greedy. Stuck around to get those last couple of creeps. Now here comes the boat onto his face. Mariano also showing up with Crippling Fear. They should be able to clean up that kill. At the same time, Mars got brought down by Parker. You know things are bad when your position 1 and your off laner and your mid laner don't have to be in the same place for you to kill core heroes, Astini, as Elsie and Mars die on opposite sides of the map.
Yeah, Parker just so strong with that TA, like the first time where he solo killed Aduza, meanwhile we were watching like a 4v14 fight on bot. He's just doing so much damage and he has the mobility with the dagger. He's very close to that upgraded dagger, the Swift Blink. So I don't see any hopes here for Balrogs. They had amazing high ground defense, but Berna dying again. They just dying all the time everywhere in the map.
Yep. Balrogs right now, you know, you were talking about how if they lose that one fight that we saw in the top lane, that they went for that big smoke with the double damage rune, that losing that fight might lead to them losing the entire game in 20 minutes. And here we are, and it definitely feels that way. 13k gold lead. Only now does the Aegis expire for Parker. Like, think about how much they got done during the timing of that solitary Aegis. The entire map looks radically different than it did before they went into the Roshan pit. They've taken all the tier 2s. They own the outpost. They own the triangle. Balrogs can practically do nothing. They're smoking just to walk into their own jungle. And it really doesn't feel like they have that many ways of coming back. Like, the Skywrath Mage is level 7 now. Draken at the very least has level 12, but it no longer feels like this combo is even a guaranteed kill anymore with these heroes because they're also so far behind on experience, Astini. Like, nobody has any levels on the side of Balrog.
Yeah, and actually the thing that's gonna counter smoke is Infinity, so they'll just wipe Balrogs on their jungle.
Yep. He started off onto the Skywrath Mage, but not the most appetizing target. You know, you want a little bit bigger quarry. But, you know, still free gold, you'll take it. Why not? Parker, wait, what? Parker got the double? Psyblades, good ability. Good itemization from Parker with the Swift Blink. And dude, Astini, so Infinity right now have 24 kills, right? Parker has 12 of them. He has half their kills for Infinity, and he has double the net worth of this Medusa. What? What kind of performance is this from this TA?
Yeah, I was really like hoping for Balrogs that they would shut this hero down on the laning stage, but he got first blood and he just had free farmed the entire game, besides the time he stepped too greedy on the mid lane and gave like a good Mars Arena kill. But besides that, just one death. So besides that, no deaths.
Yep. Practically a perfect game so far from Parker, having a very, very good time on the map. You know, and one of the things we spoke about as well was if they do well in their lanes and Night Stalker does well, then they should be able to have a cracker of a game. And Infinity certainly have done so. I'm very glad that Mariano in this game especially went for this Blink Dagger early pre-BKB on this Night Stalker. It's created so much space on the map for them. And one thing that's really terrifying me here, Astini, is we actually haven't even seen that many successful uses of the Moonlight Shadow. It's happened like once that went really well for them, but for the most part, they haven't needed it at all. They've just been running headlong into Balrog and being like, well, you can see us coming, but can you do anything about it? It doesn't seem like it. So, like, let's still have that as an additional fallback layer. If the game does start to go poorly, they still have overall this vision advantage, and they're going to try to utilize that vision advantage. Oh, Draken, they duel the Kunkka. Mystic Flare is down, but Pamplona jumps into the flare to dish out or distribute the damage very well. LC dies immediately afterwards. Winter Wyvern taken too. And they're trying to escape with the Skywrath Mage, but we both know that's not possible. Mariano with a double kill. 3 heroes down, and I think we are getting to that point where there's no way that the conversation in the server, in the team right now, isn't about game 2 and how to recover in the second matchup, because I don't see a plan for how to come back in this one.
Yeah, because that's the thing you mentioned, like, they just run into Balrogs heroes, and Balrogs accept it. Like, okay, come here, yeah, you wanna fight? We are giving you that fight. So they're not, like, kiting the team fights, which you might look like, okay, they're trying to fight, that's super good. But no, that's a terrible decision. Like, you're 15k behind. What do you need to do? You skip team fights. You shove waves far away from you, and then when you have the right items, you can try to go for pickoffs. But if you see Infinity, 5-man moving into your jungle, why do you take that fight?
Yeah. Why take that fight? It doesn't seem like a great idea, especially like you say when you're this far behind and when you know that they are better posed and better capable of taking fights than you are. And now Infinity will try and make sure that they're strong enough for the next ones. You know, one thing I've loved seeing about this team is even when they are in commanding positions, they still will go for this quote-unquote safe play that helps them. Like Pamplona now, quickly going to break the smoke, make sure that they still have vision control if they are going for this Aegis. This is lovely to see because Balrogs, they smoked out somewhat desperately, and they'll find an arena out onto Parker, but Parker almost killed Draken, but they finally kill Parker. They get the damage out. It does require everything they have, but they bring down the nasty TA. They lose LC for this though, but definitely hashtag worth. How much gold was it? 848 gold for ending that streak. All right, RoboZ, definitely in a much happier place now. And that's going to stop the Roche. It doesn't necessarily turn the game completely around. They're still super far ahead on Infinity. Parker is still by far the strongest hero on the map. But they do get the kill. They do prevent the side of Infinity getting the Aegis. And they do get to extend this game a little while longer here, Astini. But can they do this again? Once Parker respawns, do Balrogs have the ability to keep killing her and keep that TA depressed? Or do they just have to figure out some way to steal this Aegis right now while they still have a small chance?
Well, they had the DD, right? One gift from Ice Frog to see if they have a small window to come back. So they should try to take that fight. It's 5 against 4. But now they're not fighting, so I'm not sure.
It's 4 vs 4 now, and they're gonna go with the duel onto Mariano. They do manage to also take out Zisha on the back down of the fight. Draken didn't have enough during his duel to kill Mariano, but this Winter's Curse goes out. It will be able to bring down the Ogre Magi. RoboZ getting away from this. Will pop his BKB, doesn't want to get dragged back by the Kunkka. Ogre is brought back, and so is Zisha on the Skywrath Mage. Arrow flying forth, it connects onto Wyvern as Mariano also finds the jump. They X back the Skywrath Mage. They're looking for this dieback here. They will be protected by Burner on this Medusa, triggering the Stone Gaze. It's gonna buy a little bit more time. So Infinity. The sad thing is, you were talking about how it's 4v5 now for them, so they should go for that opportunity. They turned it into a 4v4, and even after the buyback, they still fought 4v5. Parker just respawned now. I didn't join the fight, just went straight into the Roshan pit. It's like, you guys have got this, you don't need me.
Yeah, that's how strong they are. Not only the TA, Kunkka has 3k more net worth than the Mars. It's even... Oh,
no,
Burna.
Oops. Oops. Yeah. That's rough. That's painful. That's very painful.
Yeah, that's the thing. If he had maybe Eye of Skadi, they could like just go for Roche with that DD while TA was dead. But he doesn't have items because he's been either joining the fights or just getting picked off at the entrance of his base, so he's not being able to scale. Which is super weird, because if his team is picking up all those fights, he should be able to farm the other side of the map. But Infinity, they're just so strong that TA can solo kill him. Even the Kanka might be able to solo kill him.
Yeah. We've been, talking about Parker a lot, but, PP's also done a magnificent job and is no slouch in the damage department in this game. Halberd, BKB, a Brigand's Blade, and I presume this Hyperstone is going to lead into an AC for this Kunkka. Whilst Infinity just clean up the first lane of Rax. Literally no counterplay from Balrogs. And they're not done with this. We see sometimes teams are like, we've gotten the one lane of Rax, we're good. But why would they ever stop? They still have this Aegis for another 3.5 minutes. You've got the Lincoln Sphere out on Parker. It just picked up a Quicksilver Amulet and is building into Butterfly. You're so far ahead right now. You at the very least want to still put more pressure on the tier 3. And the AC just showed up for PP. Alright, so between AC, Meld Strike, and the Desolator. Woo! Physical damage. Woo! And there we see it. There we see it. 2-shot on the Skywrath Mage. Bye!
They got also the Legion.
LC does get saved a little bit by the Cold Embrace and as well as by the opening space of the Stone Gaze, but Parker jumps in, 2-shotting the Winter Wyvern. How many shots for Burner? Not sure how many, but not enough for Burner to feel safe. Has to flee into the fountain. Robo Z trying to hold them back, but no possibility of making that happen. They're diving you in the fountain, chasing you into where you think you're the safest. And Balrog Esports seeing no way out, seeing no possible recovery, will just do it. They'll call GG. They throw in the towel here. Game number 1 taken in emphatic fashion by the side of Infinity. Woo! Parker TA seems like a good hero here, Astini. Seems like a very good hero.
Yeah, there is a reason why all the teams that faced Infinity banned that hero first phase.
Yeah.
And there might be a reason why Balrogs, they were confident enough that they could fight that hero, but now I'm pretty sure they will ban it. Especially if you pick Medusa, which is countered on the carry matchup by that hero. So yeah, kind of they leave Infinity play their best, and well, the best of Infinity is very, very strong.
Yep, very, very, very strong. Like if we look at this net worth graph at the very end, look how steep the gaps become between TA, Kunkka, and everybody else. Like, Kunkka's already, like, outlandishly farmed in this game, but this was just an obscene performance coming in from them. And at the end of the day here, Infinity, it also didn't really feel like they were ever under that much pressure at no stage of the game, right? Which is kind of surprising. You see this Balrogs lineup, you see all these ultimates, you see the combo potential, you say to yourself, okay, at least 1 or 2 fights, it should look like they are just a dominant force and the dominant party in that engagement, but it never happened here. The entire game, Infinity just controlled from start to finish. Like, there were a couple of kills in the early laning phase, and, the first couple of usages of Arena were decent from Robo Z, but I don't know about you, Astini. It really felt like Infinity was playing like a full team, and Balrogs had a lot of heroes, but we never really got to see the synergy with all these heroes being put together.
Yeah, feels like Infinity entered ready for the match, while Balrogs, they still kind of warming up, so I want to see them play their full, what they can show on the second match, because definitely Balrogs, they can play better than what they've showed at this first match.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've seen Balrogs play a lot better. Their first win was quite emphatic here in the lower division of the SA DPC, so we need to see them recover, pick themselves up, and see whether or not they can bring their best foot forward against Infinity, find out a way to deal with Parker, probably just ban TA, or if Infinity will find themselves snagging the 2-0, going 3-0 up in the group, and pretty much guaranteed finding themselves in contention for that top 2 spot. Of course, there's no guarantees in Dota, but given the fact that Balrogs is arguably the other strongest team that Infinity would be having to come across, if they can take another win like this, they certainly seem like shoo-ins for the upper division. But we'll see. A lot can still change, a lot can still happen, and another draft might have a lot of dynamics going on. So Game 2 will answer a lot of these questions for us, and we'll see how that goes once we get into it. This is Snare and Astini bringing you the lower division matchup between Infinity and Balrogs Esports. Game 1 done, Game 2 coming. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with some more Dota 2 action. Ladies, gentlemen, and our NBA comrades, welcome back here to the lower division of the SADPC as we continue with this titanic clash between Infinity and Balrog Esports, where right now, off the back of the Parker TA, Infinity absolutely cleaved through Balrog Esports in game one, put themselves in a very good position, and now with one more game to go for them to clinch the victory, they're probably feeling pretty good about how their season is going to be going if they do manage to come away with this victory. We're going to see now in game two whether or not they can double up their return. And to do that, to see how this goes, is myself, Snare, joined by the astute Astini. What do you feel? After seeing game one, you expected that they're obviously going to... I mean, we know they're banning Parker TA, right? So without the Parker TA, do they have a chance here on the side of Balrog Esports? Can they fight back? Can they punch them back in the nose?
I think they do have the chance, and I think they will repeat the Duza strategy, but now Duza won't be hard countered by Infinity best strategy, so this would make way more sense. That's what I am expecting them to do at the second match. Because, I know they missed some part of our conversation on first match, but it was basically me telling, like, why didn't they ban TA? Of course, Infinity is going to ban TA. It's going to pick TA if they don't ban it. It's obvious why they're letting to the second phase, and then they let it. But now, different approach, and we got to see if they go for the Duza, the TB. Those are the best strategies they have to show, and they're pretty good with it.
Well, let's see what they got for themselves on the side of Balrog Esports. Will we have a game three? The second draft will tell us all we need to know. And you know what we need to know? We just need to know that Parker not playing TA, sorry. So, too good, too strong. For Infinity, they did an interesting thing here where they still maintain the Marana, but they picked the Tidehunter, for their offlane. Balrog, though, still deciding to stick with the Smars. Wasn't that effective in game one, but it might have had to do with the lane they played it into from the mid. So potentially now we see this being shifted over to Draken, because it also doesn't feel like Draken had a particularly impactful game on the Legion Commander. So at least get some more guaranteed team fight on the Mars instead.
Yeah, and it's one of the best Draken heroes, the Mars, so it would make sense that they leave the hero for the offlane. But being honest, I already don't like their opening because it feels like they lost confidence on their best strategy. Because, if you see, they played twice against Wolf with Duza and they won both games. And then they played once with Duza against Gorilla's Pride, against a Tidehunter, by the way, and they won. And then Gorilla's Pride banned the hero. So they just lost once with the hero against a big counter and the best strategy of Infinity. I don't get why, like, losing confidence so easily at your best strategy. I feel like Infinity, they did not only win game one, but they already like ahead on this mental warfare for the game two.
Mental warfare is a major aspect of this game right now. Wingblade talks about it a lot, right? About map pressure, hero pressure, and mental pressure. Add some confusion to things. I mean, there is still a possibility of Infinity avoiding banning the Medusa. I mean, we did have Balrogs not banning the Parker TA, but it does seem a little bit less likely, especially with this first ban in the second phase. You're taking out Luna. Obviously, you need to take out Luna. You're playing Tidehunter in the offlane, but this is the kind of hero that if you're banning Luna, you probably can ban Medusa and feel okay with it and not mind too much. So now Balrogs have to adopt potentially a very different way of looking at things and how to approach the game. But let's say we do live in a world where Infinity don't ban the Medusa. Do they have a counter strategy ready, you think, outside of the TA? Or do you think Balrogs will just snap it up easily, then just cruise to victory off the back of their best strategy being available?
I mean, for sure they have another way to deal with it, because it was very weird that they let the TA go through. It was really weird. So Infinity, they were almost sure that they would not have the TA. It's just like a mistake Balrogs did that I don't think they were expecting. So I'm pretty sure they still have another answer to it. And now they have this really good ban on Kanka because they don't have the Kanka themselves, and it's one of the best Robo-Z heroes. They see Batriders banned, one of the biggest counters for Kanka. So it's an interesting ban. I think they can just let the Duza through, especially because now Balrogs, they didn't ban to protect Aduza, Because if they pick the Dedusa, they have to ban like PL, Morphling. So having PL open, you should be pretty fine here that Dedusa is still open.
Yeah, especially because on the second phase, Balrog was going 1-2, a little bit blind into what the core matchup is going to be. So a little bit iffy, a little bit scary for them to pick a Medusa into that matchup. Like you say, with the heroes that can generally counter the Medusa still being available in the draft. Infinity, though, is still going to make the decision. We still actually have to decide if the hero is getting removed or not with this final ban here in this phase. And they take out the LC, so no protection from LC, no Kunkka for potential big plays with Mars and or Kokorum. And they go for this Gyrocopter. Presumably this is going to be the plus 5 Gyrocopter. I haven't seen carry Gyro in so long that I don't even remember what it plays like. I mean, of course we remember what it plays like. We're all haunted by those memories. But where does this Gyro go actually? What is the plan here for Infinity utilizing this hero? Is it indeed going to be their plus 5, or are they going to start try and run some interesting and aggressive safe lane or mid Gyrocopter in this game?
It's damage into the arena, which I think Balrogs will go for a Dark Willow also with that same approach. But I think Gyro, they can actually play hard carry. I've seen Actor play the hero. He was godlike on the hero. So you can still play both roles, but since they picked here, it really looked like a position 5 that you have great lane, you offer some damage on that arena. Sounds like an interesting pick, especially because you don't show much of your draft.
I suppose as well they can also decide to come back, right, with this Gyro and do something else for last pick.
Yeah, and Balrogs, they have to show a core here, and then they can counter that core on the 18, and then Balrogs has to show another core, and they get to counter it again. So it's fine just showing your position 5 here, and like later on the last pick, you can decide if you have like a clutch position 5 last pick. I don't know which one would be like AA, Undying. Sometimes you have those games, right? But otherwise, I guess it's just a 5 Gyro.
Yeah. 5 Gyro, a hero that can have mixed success playing in that role, but certainly you've mentioned all the good things about him. And in a game like this, just having additional burst damage, always really nice when you have Tidehunter to be able to drop down a nice AoE spell atop the Ravage. Infinity now I have to respond to the Ember Grimstroke duo. Balrogs, with this Grimstroke, every time I see this hero, I want to see it with Inkswell partners. Certainly does have some of those in this game. The Mars on the one side, Ember on the other. So they should be able to get forward and utilize that big stun quite nicely. It's decent enough harass. You know, Phantom's Embrace also quite nice against Tidehunter. Hero can't just immediately dispel that off. Has to actually sit there right-clicking, which Tidehunter hates to do. And it's a little bit of, you know, Stroke of Fate damage. Not a lot, but I can definitely, there's a lot of combos, right? They need to get like a Bushwhack, Searing Chains, dive in from Ember, Stroke on everyone, Inkswell on multiple heroes. Does feel fairly execution heavy here from Balrogs. Like they have to keep their eyes on the ball pretty much the entire time, but against the Sven, oof, BKB carrier, not much burst magic damage from Balrogs early on in the game outside of the Ember Spirit. This feels like definitely a good hero to be able to snag at this stage of the game here, Astini. What do you make of having the Sven, especially since they definitely needed some kind of big physical damage themselves at this stage of the draft for Infinity?
Yeah, as you mentioned, they need to use so much spells to take down the Tidehunter that makes sense that you just pick another fat car, because then they just don't have the damage to kill both of them. So either they use everything on the Tidehunter and try to kill him before the Ravage pops out, but then you have this Sven doing massively damage. It's really hard to kill both Tide and Sven. There is still Razor open, which would be a way that... Oh, no. Razor was the first ban, so there's like Timber, that is a way of reducing those guys' HP, but then you have to play Ember safe lane. There's DP also if you want to play the Ember safe lane, because otherwise maybe a Lifestealer in the long fight against those targets.
Lifestealer could work. I could see a Lifestealer coming out. I mean, there's stuns on the side of Infinity. With the sole exception, actually no, there's no exceptions. Pretty much everything, if you're fast enough on the fingers, you can dodge with Rage, unless they come from Vision, of course. You have high right-click attack speed, you know, can take out the homing missile if it's going towards a different target. You know, can scale decently against Sven for the late game. It's a lifestealer matchup into the Tide, so the lane is fine. You can definitely see it. You have a partner as well with the Ember Spirit who can get you quickly into the fight. Yeah, why not? Why not this lifestealer? I mean, I can't really imagine what other heroes are really left in the draft right now that are both very good in the lane against Tide, good against Sven as he scales into the game, and capable of adding consistent and sustained damage for themselves. Because I think it's kind of too late right now to try and angle towards big burst, right? You have to be all in on somebody who can take a fight over a period of time. Potentially a BKB buyer or somebody that has magic immunity would really help in that situation. So I can't think of many other options, in fact, right now instead of that lifestealer.
Yeah, they can go for a TB. Okay, lifestealer's banned, so they
Never
need to
mind.
think also on other options. I think TB might be one option. I just can see TB here, to be honest. Wraith King, if that's a comfort, but like it's not a good lane against Tidehunter, right?
Yeah.
It's just like because it's comfort of some South American players. There's Faceless Void, but you don't have any damage inside Chrono, so for me it doesn't make sense. I would go with the TB. That's the hero I see it working. Okay, I feel happy because I'm on the same page. Yeah.
Astini is out here.
Now you have PP Invoker open and also his Void Spirit. Invoker has great lane against Ember. Wait. Okay.
Astini, y'all. Astini. This is why this man's out here, telling us exactly what's up. You know, little do y'all know that the only reason you couldn't hear us in the first draft is because he was dropping so much heat. You know, Dota's like, nah, guys, relax. You know, can't be this good on the predictions. You know, we still have to maintain some sense of causality, but he can see the future. Saw the TB coming, saw the Invoker coming. And Infinity, I really love this Invoker pick, man. Alacrity eventually is going to be there for the Sven, so the normal dynamic of the matchup you have against TB, where eventually TB is too much, not really going to be that much of a problem. You have a lot of setup for yourself. The Invoker, at some point as well, if this game goes late enough, can scale into getting Aghanim Scepter, and I love having Blink Ravage with Cataclysm on top of it. It's such an absurd amount of damage that there's very little you can do about, and even heroes like the TB could easily find himself getting bursted in those situations in the game, so this is a great Invoker pick, I think. And the lane against Robo-Z. I mean, we've used to see one of the reasons that Crosswick Invoker came back into the meta was to deal with this Ember Spirit spamming this mid lane. So he's already feeling good about himself in the lane matchup as well.
Yeah, he's gonna have amazing lane. He can scale. He has like weak supports on the other side that he can get kills with the urn. Also has amazing alacrity carry that, whoa, attack speed for Sven means so much. I can see that Infinity Draft working so well. Again, I'm very hyped because what they show on the first game, but I'm also expecting Balrogs to put up a fight because Balrogs has been playing so well during not only the second division, but on the qualifiers. They were the first team to qualify. And TB is the second comfort of Berna. So they would usually go with Duza or TB on the first phase. So still we can expect Balrogs to put up a show here. Also, Balrogs now, they're on the Radiant side, which gives you some priority on the Roche team fight, a bit better Roche. So I'm expecting to be a good match here.
Yeah, it definitely is one of these matchups that I think can go quite well for them if they do. I think it's going to be really important. We saw last game how big the lanes were for both teams, and this game, obviously, Balrogs, they have protection for the Terrorblade, right? It's not like he's playing completely out in the wind. There's ways to get in front of him, protect him, keep heroes from climbing onto him. And on the side of Infinity, they don't have that much catch and reach themselves. They need to buy Blink Daggers for the Tidehunter, for the Sven, to really get in close to where the TB is. So definitely have hope. They definitely have the chance. Infinity, they want game 2 to be in their favor, but Balrogs certainly searching to get into game 3. Let's see whose search will be successful as we get into the game. Let's go! Let's go.
And they're fighting Drakel. Oh no, he broke the smoke.
Nice. Last game, you know, he got that little bit of extra lunch money. This time around, all he gets to do is break a smoke. No big play, but not dying, also pretty great. And I'm sure he's really tired of losing his life to these Infinity heroes. He was being targeted a lot in game 1. But they'll be able to take this positioning, secure themselves the double bounties here. They haven't plopped out a ward just yet, though. All right, PP finally does make one happen. Don't think anybody on the side of Balrog is aware of this. They also block this camp. Yeah, Infinity are here to play. They really do not want to give Balrogs any opportunity. They're trying to smother them from the earliest possible chance.
Yeah, usually when you're playing against TB, you'd go more aggressive for runes because, you know, he doesn't want to pop up meta on the runes. But now the TBs, they just go for the first point at Reflection. As you can see, TB fighting a Tight Hunter at level 1. So that change on how you play the hero is quite curious and allows you to take more bounties as they did get 3.
Yeah. So this time around, they're not going to get the bonus gold from an Observer Ward. They get it from bounties. So we'll see Burner and Sexy Ogoge doing their thing in this bottom lane. But this time around, we have a much more interesting mid lane matchup. Still not as kill heavy as I would prefer my mid lane matchups to be these days, but massive rotation potential from this Ember Spirit. Great play potential from PP as well. So what happens in the lane and the CS and gold and experience that get exchanged here has a direct bearing on how well people on the other sides of the map are going to do. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come across here. I'm expecting just like, you know, I don't think we'll get any weird item builds from either of these guys, right? Should just be standard games from them.
Yeah, guess Volker is going for Urn, RoboZ, he's going for the phase boots, might go for an Orb of Corrosion to help TB input on... oh, they're going for the Green Stroke.
Okay, Grim. Falling fairly low, almost died there. The last right click ticked him down very low, but he does survive. Instead, Burner shows up with the Reflection, throws it back at Mariano. The level 1 usage of the spell does enable him to at least make sure that the Grimstroke stays alive. They don't want to use and commit the salve though, so Sexy Yogoye is still in a little bit of danger, and now they're actually putting Burner in danger. Sacred Arrow not going to be available because they just used it on a range creep, but nonetheless they force him back behind the tower, force out the salve, and they know for a fact that there's not that much more regen. So the next time they get any kind of pressure out onto this Grimstroke, probably will end up dying in this bottom lane.
Yeah, I think Sexy Yogi soon is gonna... Oh, they go for Pamplona, they're level 2.
What is it? I think Pamplona's fine. Stroke of Fate does come out. Instead, the turnaround onto this Grimstroke. Sacred Arrow stops Burner in his tracks. Can't keep chasing Mariano. A lot of aggression in this bottom lane here, Astini. Nobody's died just yet, but everybody has felt the sting of their opponent's attacks.
Yeah, it was very nice read by Balrogs because Mirana was still level 1, so he wouldn't have the leap. They did that small aggression, and Pamplona, he still wanna kill Sexy Yogi.
Okay, but Inkswell comes out, will end up stunning Pamplona, and this Mirana trying to leap this way and that, hoping for the additional attack speed to help him kill this Grimstroke, but Sexy Yogi says, nope, that first blood is mine, baby. You came to me, fine, I guess. And this time around, it looks like Balrogs are very happy. You know, they accept the challenge of the fight, but Infinity don't end up winning this early one.
Yeah, and turned out so good for Balrogs because the green, he had no resources, he had no mana, no life, and he needs to buy another salve for TB, so he really wanted to die. He just don't want to feed that first blood, so he got the chance to get first blood himself and then denied to the neutral creeps. So great for Sexy Yogi here.
Definitely a great feeling for him. And other side of the map, thus far, we're seeing why they picked this Gyro, just putting out as much harass as humanly possible in this laning phase. Hasn't really stunted the CS progression of Draken, but definitely has made things annoying in this top lane. So far though, he himself and the Sven are still just trading happily. And it does feel like there's kill potential on both sides here, and everybody has to be so careful with their positioning, lest they get caught by a spell which could lead them into losing their lives very quickly afterwards.
Yeah, and the thing is, Invoker, he can TP on that aggressions and maybe... Oh, they kill this.
Oh, Parker, magic stick. He's still alive. He's get behind the tower. How on earth is he still living? I thought he was dead to rights for sure, but gets handed a tango. Definitely needs a ferry and regen. Do these creeps have it? Sven already getting a morbid mask, but they need a salve or something. That was so close. They will at the very least, it seems, settle for the kill onto this gyrocopter as they throw in the bushwhack. slow him down, and then slowly but surely run him down. And that's going to be a quick kill for the side of Balrog Esports. So 2 kills on the map for them. They're off already to a better start than they were in game 1.
Yeah, Miran is trying to rotate on me, but RoboZ, what a god.
Nice. Nicely done by RoboZ. Beautiful slight dodge. Not sure if he had the vision of the arrow before it left and came in through the mid lane, but either that or he had the intuition. And because they did this though, they've left Mariano alone down bottom, and they're utilizing this chance on Balrog Esports to attempt to get this kill onto him. They'll just force him back behind the tier 1 tower. So they'll take it. This is a decent situation for them to be able to do that. And everybody's coming so close to dying, but not actually taking over. Even Jisha almost died here on this hoodwink, but does manage to scurry away on this hood. Okay, super close with everybody coming very low, but who's the big winners of all these skirmishes if ultimately, I mean, Balrogs do have some very decent CS for the Ember and the Terrorblade, but this Invoker is also doing quite well here for PP, and it does seem like he's going to be allowed to play a good game, especially if he is part of this kill, which he probably will be. I highly doubt that this Grimstroke will get out of here. He'll just try to delay them as much as possible.
And that's urine charges for him, so now it's good. Because before that, he was expected to win the lane against the Ember, so it was everything as expected. Balrogs were doing a bit better with those trade-offs while they killed the Gyro top. But now that Invoker, he has the urine charges, he can just TP and answer on any lane that Ember tries to rotate. So even though Ember has this Arcane Rune, he can just dispel that with a Tornado.
Yeah.
And if his team is like paying attention enough to those rotations, he might get the kills in exchange.
You see on bottom, some more kills might be happening here for Balrogs. Mariano, they can't kill him. Burner. This is some of the weaknesses of playing into a Tidehunter when you're a physical damage dealer. Just feels so tanky. And now PP making his first rotation on the map. Oh my gosh, Sacred Arrow. It hit the Terrorblade. Burner's in a little bit of danger as well. He needs to be careful. Ember Spirit shows up to render assistance. And RoboZ gets the 1 kill. Might be able to get 2 off of this. Mariano and Pamplona will end up losing their lives. So although PP does come bottom and gets a very good rotation onto the Grimstroke, the Ember's movement's even better. And RoboZ now really announcing himself on the map. And I feel it's always the best feeling in the world when you make the rotation to counter the enemies and your rotation ends up working out better for your team than theirs does for them.
Yeah, and this was what I was expecting from PP, because as an Invoker, you can really answer to those rotations. Oh, he goes for Berna.
He's going back in, didn't leave the bottom lane, and his patience pays off as they manage to find a kill onto Burner, replenishing the charges en route towards getting the Midas. This is really good. I really thought I was kind of sad for them on the side of Infinity with how that rotation went, but now they got Burner, haha, we're the ones that are ahead. We're feeling much better about our mid laners' movements.
The patience paid off for sure, and now he's gonna TP top.
Yep. Helped him to kill Draken. First arena of the game is committed, and the Tornado connects onto 2. Allows them to kill Draken, and they're looking for the follow-up onto this Hoodwink. Very difficult for this Hoodwink to escape, and it will not happen. Just a straight-up kill. RoboZ yet again makes it a response play, but this time around there's absolutely no potential for setup. Just shows up, has to waste the spell and be like, yeah, well, everyone's already dead. Might as well go back mid to farm.
Yeah, and it's especially good because Mars had wasted the arena. Now Pamplona gets to control the power-up rune, so Ember, he won't have that much resources. They might try to kill him.
Oh no, he's definitely dead. He's 100% dead. My goodness, a mega kill streak already? He's 5-0-1 on PP? Okay, so it seems like on Infinity, you have one of 2 options, right? It's either you're going to get completely rolled by our boy Parker here, or PP is just going to have this blistering kind of start and really start to open up aggression on the map, because look what he's doing here, Astini. He's not done. They're already starting to move bottom. They know that there's at least 1 hero behind this tier 1 tower. If they can kill them, they can potentially set up for the tower push itself, but more importantly, they're keeping this train rolling with PP. Also getting some gloves of haste flying in, so he's not going to be that far away from a hand of Midas anymore at this point.
And he's gonna scale so well. I really like when you do that. You don't go directly for the vessel, so you can scale faster by having the Midas. They are almost fighting Sexy Yogi. He might just stay here for the extra XP.
We do get the quick kill onto the gyrocopter in the top lane, but Infinity, given the positioning of everybody else, they'd already sacked that part of the map and were just giving their 5 position a little bit of time to accrue some gold and experience. Did net him the level 6, so ultimately still winds up being worth it for them because they're going to trade the tower. So I love that Grim was just still chilling. He's still hanging out. This is real patience play. Doesn't peek out for even a second. He's like, I'm not going to come do that thing where I apply ink salt to myself, look for some random deny. Nah. I'm just going to pick up the free experience. Thank you very much. But they also took the tower fast enough here, Astini, that they are going to be able to come back top and protect their own tier 1.
Yeah, and they almost got with the arrow. Mars dead.
Bye.
Gyro, he controls the power-up rune. It's not a gyro. You see a gyro with DD, but let's remember it's a gyro 5. But what really matters here is, again, no power-up rune for RoboZ. So he's not making rotations. That's the thing. And the Invoker already 5 kills and 2 assists. So yeah, all the kills on Infinity side, PP was involved. And it makes me go back to draft. Like, you play against them, you don't ban the TA, and you play against them, you don't ban like a last pick Invoker. It's just weird.
Well, they're gonna have to deal with this Invoker now, as Parker will eat an arena in this mid lane. Very similar to what happened in game 1. He's on the low ground. This time he definitely is baiting. However, the bait play did not go as expected. They end up losing the Sven and the Gyro now, taken out by the Spear of Mars on the high ground. They claim away the life of the Grimstroke, but certainly not worth it here for Infinity. And it feels like they always make the same situation happen, right? Where they're a little bit too late on the rotation to come in onto Parker. If they get there in time, potentially the Tornado EMP comes out at the same time as like Ravage, but it doesn't. Ravage though will emerge now. What can they make of this? Draken gets back the God's Rebuke and they throw a Hoodwink Bushwhack onto Marciano. They don't manage to kill him, but the Sharpshooter hit onto Invoker just might bring him down as PP loses his life. 3 heroes caught inside the Stormhammer, but they still don't yet have the damage to kill everybody. RoboZ trying to dodge a homing missile as they use the Anchor Smash to take out Burner. Homing missile, RoboZ has Slight, so should be able to make this dodge happen with no problem. And they use the Stroke of Fate from the Grimstroke to make sure that the movement slow is online so that RoboZ cannot be chased. Okay, trading the life of PP on the very far edge of the fight for the life of the Terrorblade. After you got the life of Parker and you got the tier 1 middle, I think they're not happy about losing Terrorblade, but they're probably okay with this on the side of Balrogs, right?
The thing is, they didn't trade for Invoker life. If you press enter, you're gonna see he actually died for a neutral creep.
No way! Oh no! Oh no! That is the saddest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. That is so. It's even sadder by how quickly the Gyro's gonna die here.
Yeah, but the Gyro again, he's protecting PP, so it's fine. He just spotted the smoke. PP's life saved. But still, with that situation on PP, it was kind of worth for them because they use Mata and they take the tier 1 tower. In exchange, Sven popped the ultimate, but didn't manage to get any kills. So it's an okay trade-off. That's what we're gonna see on this game. That's what this game is about. You use Mata, you wanna win a team fight, take an objective. You use God Strength, you would like to have the same. So it's mostly about those two very important cooldowns usage.
Meta will be online again in about 15 seconds. God's Strength has also been utilized a little bit ago by Parker. Of course, this is Infinity, so we're a little bit lax in our diligence to see how many stacks they got for themselves. But right now, Balrog, they're trying to go for his kill onto Mariano. I don't know, y'all. This is a level 10 Tidehunter with you know, there's Hood of Defiance, a Soul Ring, and a Bracer. And they very quickly, I think maybe if the Sharpshooter hits, they consider it. But even then, it's not an easy kill to get. And I'm glad they give it up. Yeah, Mariano doesn't have Ravage online, but we've already seen the impact this Tidehunter can have early. But as I speak about that, Ravage is back online. So that means Infinity happy to go in for another smoke movement. Try to find a fight for themselves in another big team fight. Sadly, Hoodwink too good with the positioning, sitting inside the Roshan pit on the lip of the entrance, managing to break the smoke in its entirety. You love to see it. This is why we pick these elusive support heroes, so that they can do stuff like this, open up space on the map for us. I mean, it would have been an absolute disaster if they got to Burner and killed him. So very, very big play to make sure that the smoke gank goes effectively nowhere for Infinity.
Yeah, but it was a really weird smoke from Infinity, if I may say, because it's like all the heroes from Balrogs they were missing, and they were just like going straight to enemy triangle, where I don't think it was gonna be a good team fight for them, because the Tidehunter was not on the smoke. Tidehunter was farming jungle, and they're not on any item timing. So if the Sven had the dagger, I would completely understand, or if the Tidehunter had the dagger, or yeah, that's it. But they were on no timings for items, and I don't feel they have that initiation power till they get the daggers. So very weird smoke, to be honest.
PP went for the full Midas, so he's going to start building already into Aghanim Scepter, because they're going to combo up with that dagger you mentioned. It's coming soon from Mariano, and it's also coming not that far away from the Sven. RoboZ though wants to make sure that any items for the gyrocopter will take quite a while as they get this early kill. Potentially he's not dead just yet. Arrow came in from Pamplona. Instead they took out RoboZ, and with that Ravage setup, Parker shows up to clean up the Mars. Oh gosh, what just happened? It looked so good. It looked like there was a guaranteed gyrocopter kill, but looks like Infinity didn't need the smoke gank. They just walked straight into Balrog and killed some of their most important heroes.
Yeah, that's one thing good about Tidehunter, how well you protect your farming area, and that's what Infinity should be looking for while he finds the Hoodwink.
Feels like Hoodwink should get out of here. They're bringing in heroes though, Burner with the meta. They would like to be able to defend this tower, at the very least deny it, and they do get that. And now, setting up onto Parker, RoboZ found the initial stun. Parker looking for the turnaround, Tornado onto Draken. There's no arena, but it doesn't seem like they'll need it. Raw right clicks should be more than enough to take out the Sven. As he falls, they also find Searing Chains out onto Pamplona on the higher ground. Going to be 2 kills being brought down here. Infinity suddenly needing to flee, using the Moonlight Shadow to retreat as quickly as they can. They do manage to get away here, but big turnaround there from Balrog. They also got the tower deny as well, so things are looking a little bit up for them in that situation.
And they will have the gyro that might get a Hoodwink in exchange. Position 5 for position 4.
Okay, gyro. One's up, stays alive,
gyro.
and Mariano's in. They got the Gush out onto Draken, revealing the Blink Dagger on the Tidehunter as well. The call down from Gyro will slow Draken down enough that Mariano can follow up with the final right click. RoboZ does manage to escape. Where did the Sunstrike go? It was going onto this Grimstroke. Sexy Ogoye, will he escape this? Has an Ink Swell at the ready, but I don't think there's any hope of getting out. PP's right here. Prepare to drop the Soul Jar charge. They do eventually also bring down the gyrocopter in this mid lane. RoboZ comes in for the cleanup, but at that point, it's feeling like #worth. You've set up so much for your team, you've gotten so much out of it, that you'll happily lose the gyro if it means getting 2-3 heroes again every single time that happens.
Yeah, the gyro is tanking so much for position 5, and the name of this game is overextension from one side into the other side, into the other side back again. It's just so back and forth, because they first had that amazing kill with the Ravage protecting their jungle, then they go for the mid tier 1 towers, then ultimate runs out, still they fight into meta, they lose everything, then Balrogs, they still want to fight without meta, then they lose.
Man, Balrogs have a major vendetta against SHCCD here, because they keep running these spells on him, and Gyrocopter keeps surviving everything. Draken forced to use Spear of Mars to just toss back Mariano. Oh, look at this. Parker gets the catch onto RoboZ. The Ember Spirit does manage to turn around with some Searing Chains, prevent the further chase. But did you see how much damage those 2 hits did? Alacrity on God Strength. Woo! Very, very scary indeed from the Sven. And that is sort of a harbinger of things to come as time goes on. It's just how much damage will come out from him. It feels like all they really need is this BKB at this point, and then the games can really, really begin here for the Infinity lineup.
Yeah, Infinity, they still have Ravage, although they don't have Sven ultimate. It's gonna... So I feel like Balrogs, they have an opening now because they have meta and Sven doesn't have ultimate. So even if they force the Ravage, there won't be damage to follow up. So they should be the ones pressuring the map now. They shouldn't be like split pushing. That's what Drakel is doing. Because then you just have Sven with the ultimate back again. And I don't feel like they can take that fight when all cooldowns are up.
Yeah. Definitely team fighting in that regard, you know. You have Arena, they have Ravage. Just a very different sort of initiation. And RoboZ, speaking of this Ravage, he is on the high ground right now. Despite knowing the spell's available, he has confidence in himself to dodge it, so not completely concerned. But unfortunately, Grimstroke, not many options you have against Tidehunter. Sunstrike, Sacred Arrow, gonna be enough to lock him in down and kill him. Well done. That is going to be 4v5 around the Roshan pit. They don't really have the tools for the Aegis just yet, but they are about to get back the God Strength. So if they want to here, they can now turn around and try and exploit a small timing. Feeling strong because, you know, last time you were asking yourself, why are they moving on this map before they have their item timings? This time, if they do decide to gank, they're not just doing it off of having already Tidehunter blink, off of BKB being about to be finished for the Sven, but they're also about to finish the Aghanim Scepter for PP, so a massive power spike is about to get reached here, Astini, for the side of Infinity. And if they do decide to make something happen on the map, Balrogs aren't necessarily positioned just yet to be able to protect themselves from that full aggression if they go right after these items arrive.
Yeah, I think they should be going for Roche right now, like literally right now. Don't even go for that Mars, just go for Roche, because you have the BKB on Sven, and you don't want to wait till TB has Skadi, so you have that very small window.
Well, after the Sunstrike and God Strength used by Parker, they don't really have a choice, right? You have to go into the pit right now.
Yeah.
And Infinity, they're really thinking about it, but they smoke first. Okay, are they gonna look for a... okay, I think maybe they'd want another pick off, but Balrogs are fully aware of this as well. They're immediately backing off, waiting for their Grimstroke to come back online. And this is a lot of time not hitting this Aegis, that they could be hitting it right now, but the fight will still come. They smoke back as well. They get the steering chains out onto Parker. BKB is at the ready. Blink Dagger on cooldown. Let's see if Jisha will be able to find a good sharpshooter or a bushwhack. Not just yet. And with Grimstroke having fully respawned, it's a 5v5 again, but Infinity, smoke is popped, but they're not done. They still want to go back in. Moonlight Shadow is on the offing, but Parker no longer has access to this double damage from the God Strength. We'll get a bit of a buffer from PP with the Alacrity though. Oh, they find Parker with this stun onto RoboZ, but they don't really want to jump onto this. They don't know who's behind him. Does also feel like Ember Spirit's not necessarily the best target to start a fight off of, so they will let him go, and the Cold War around the Roshan pit will continue.
Yeah, now I feel like Balrogs should just go Roche again. Sorry, yeah, Balrogs. As I felt for Infinity, they had their timing, now it's Balrogs. They have Skadi, there's no God Strength, so they have that 30 seconds window where they are so strong.
Oh god, and they also just found Parker. BKB is active, but BKB TP out, I'm not sure it's going to be good enough. There's so much physical damage, and indeed it isn't. Oh my gosh. Sven dead with no buyback here, Astini. This Roshan, will they go in for it here? They know that there's Ravage. They know that there's a lot of spells from Invoker, but okay, there it is. Blink Ravage with Cataclysm follow-up. Do they have enough to kill Terrorblade? They do. Both cores down for the count, and an Arena from Draken catches absolutely everybody. Enables RoboZ to destroy the backlines of the fight. 3 heroes fall in the blink of an eye. A double kill for the Ember, and with the Hoodwink tracking down Mariano, I doubt the Tide can escape either. Did a great job with the Ravage burst onto Terrorblade, but it ends up costing your life and everybody else's lives. It's a full team wipe for Balrog Esports. And if, unfortunately, Astini, unfortunately, the one hero who could do Roche is dead. So they can't even go into the Aegis despite the massive win around the pit.
Yeah, but it's a good trade-off for Balrogs, even if they don't get the Aegis, because, well, Ember now is gonna be so huge. He's so close to his agonies, and he was so behind of the Invoker. I don't understand Infinity decision. It's like, okay, we don't have our hard carry. If we use all our spells, we also take out their hard carry. But then they still have 4 heroes, and you have completely nothing, because you just use Ravage plus Cataclysm to kill the TB.
Yep. Literally
now he has
everything.
Sven back. He has God Strength. He has BKB, but you can't do Roche at all because you don't have Ravage, you don't have Cataclysm.
Yeah. Still have to wait for some time here. I really can't believe Roshan is still alive. Like, given how long both teams have been fighting around this area, but nobody's been able to really feel super confident about walking into the pit to claim their advantage. So now, Infinity, with having all their heroes back but none of their cooldowns, they're still gonna farm and not stray too far away from this area. PP, what does PP go next year? After you've got the Aghanim Scepter, is it Spirit Vessel time, or do you angle towards getting a BKB for yourself to ensure that you also have some degree of protection in these fights?
I think BKB. I think BKB or even Dagger. It depends on player comfort. Sometimes you feel like you can be alive by having a Dagger and being able like to kite Arena, which I strongly believe he could. But BKB would be the safer choice.
Gyrocopter has 4 staff, doesn't need BKB, able to get away from the initiation of Robo-Z. That came very, very close. And Sven's going for this Orchid now. There's no BKB on the Ember Spirit, so if they do ever jump onto him, they can kill him. 100-0 now suddenly. There's a Manta on Burner, but no BKB just yet for the Terrorblade, so they also have options for them to be able to silence him up. I suppose later on you can turn this into a Bloodthorn, but interesting utility decision here from Parker. Do you prefer this over going, say, for a Chrysalis, Silver Edge, straight SNY? How do you feel about the decision to go for the more utility-based Orchid here for Parker?
I find it interesting because they really understand that Amber is also a problem. I guess that's the hero they want to target for. But I think that item doesn't scale because soon Amber is gonna have BKB, Mars already has, TB is also gonna have BKB, so I'm not a big fan of that item. Also because like I feel if you jump into green or Hoodwink, they're just dead. You don't need to silence them, so
yeah. Well, we'll see now as they have very nice soul bind onto the 2 supports of Infinity. This Grimstroke will die for this, but just created space. That's all he needed to do. This feels like a lot like deja vu here, Astini. I feel like not too long ago, we were in this exact same situation. Grimstroke dead, God Strength popped by Parker, and Infinity thinking about taking Roche. Last time they sort of lost their nerve and ended up trying to force a fight, but looks like this time around the team communication is on point to say, yo, nothing's more important than this Aegis right now. Grab it before the Terrorblade does. And PP also doing the right thing of quickly killing Hoodwink, but primarily preventing anybody from trying to steal it from this high ground area. And they now have this Aegis, the double life available on Sven. You know, obviously you don't get God Strength on life number 2, but still, you can at least leverage this on the map right now to ensure that they don't try fights into you on the side of Balrogs.
yeah, now I see Infinity taking the best decision, what they should already have done on the last time they had that window. And now we're gonna see if Balrogs, if they really don't understand that concept that you can actually skip a team fight, because they shouldn't fight now. Because Ravage's still up. Infinity, they have all the tools to win a team fight with 2 lives on Sven. So they have Ember, a hero that's amazing for split pushing. They don't have any, let's say, sort of direct control like Vice or a Lion or Puck and hero that can get you split pushing. You have the TB illusions, so you can really skip that fight, and that's what I would like to see Balrogs doing. I don't like to see when they go all in.
Well, they're going all in now, baby. Parker, the first one, gone in, all in on. He gets brought down. There's immediately a Ravage to follow up as well. No buyback for the Ember. Arena dropped down onto PP. He doesn't have a defensive way out of this fight either, as he doesn't have a BKB. At the same time, they get the Bushwhack out onto the Gyrocopter. Will they be able to get the kill? One more right click. All they need, they do it. At the same time, they do lose Grimstroke elsewhere in the fight, so Parker can still come in on the backline of this, not fearful of an Inkswell ruining his day. The Forge Spirit scouting things out, and there's going to be the Stormhammer. He's going in, activates the BKB, Sacred Arrow crashes onto the Mars, and they do manage to bring him down. But it does cost the first life away from the Sven. Tied now on the Terrorblade, trying to chase him to the ends of the earth. Parker, they want to make sure they keep the slow out on the Sven, so he can't blink after anybody. But instead of keeping the chase onto Terrorblade, he's like, you know what, let's go for the easy kill. I just lost the Aegis. They take a big fight here, but given where the fight happened and given that they were already sort of in a position to win team fights, this doesn't feel that great to me, having to give up the Aegis so soon after claiming it from the Roshan.
And honestly, it goes for both sides that they just can't like take a deep breath and wait for 10 seconds. Like Balrogs, they should not take the team fight, but okay, it was okay-ish. But for Infinity, they forced meta and they still had ultimate on Sven, so they wait for more 15 seconds till meta is done, and they just like can win massively team fight, can kill the TB, can kill everything and win the game. But no, he just jumps onto a support while there's still 15 seconds of meta, and he loses his first life, and that's also your ultimate effect.
Yep.
So then he couldn't fight anymore. I think they just need a little bit more of patience. Like, those players, they're so good, but this decision making, they're just running out of patience, of discipline. And they fought Berna.
This kill seems unlikely. BKB active, just quick turnaround. They're gonna be able to find the Miranda. Moonlight Shadow buys time for everybody else to escape, but still, good way to be able to force out a BKB charge, I suppose, from Burner. Now down to 7 seconds at this point. Miranda, yeah, it definitely does feel like both teams need to take a little bit of a Zen Buddhism class. Just chill, relax, you know, breathe in, focus on the breath. Just focus on the breath, yo. And don't worry about how this game is going. But instead, they're really worried and they're very concerned. And it's showing in how they're playing on the map, right? Everybody feels under a lot of pressure to try and make something happen. Like PP now, he's scouting past this Hoodwink, thinking about trying to make a jump, but instead they actually make the jump on the other side. RoboZ gets gone on. There's still a tier 1 tower alive. They do manage to bring down the gyrocopter before reinforcements show up. Parker was the first one to make his way here. And do they find the silence? Not just yet. RoboZ gonna die though. The right-click damage from Parker with the alacrity going. Literally more than 500 damage. It's perfectly fine to kill heroes. TP's out though will be there on the supports. And RoboZ, had they just not wanted to dive for the gyrocopter, he'd still be alive right now. They might even have gotten the tower and gotten out, but really wanted that gyro kill. He gets it, but it's a very expensive kill to find for yourself.
It's really weird because they had the awareness that Invoker was in the region. They could like just drop a sentry and go for the Invoker. But I believe they had the feeling, okay, someone is joining the Invoker. So we killed that someone that's just TPing, let's dive under the tower. But diving under the tower is not the best decision, especially if you have a TB on your lineup. TB, he just wanna sit there and hit targets. So if you're diving far away of him, he can't do damage. You just need to control targets nearby the TB, not dive other targets.
From that fight though, now they are starting to look a little bit rough right now. It's a 6k gold lead that they've extended. Ember is still in the grave, so there's no counter from RoboZ right now in order to deal with this impending smoke from Infinity. Also, look what they're doing. Pamplona, oh my god, they're trying to lay a trap. Parker and Pamplona, they might be waiting for this Ember to try and reveal himself through bottom and then jump on him. RoboZ though knows better. He has no vision on this jungle outside of this north part of the outpost. He knows that there were heroes in this area. He knows that they were going to head through this part of the map to go towards either through to middle or top. So wise enough to first link up with his team before deciding to go into the jungle. You love to see it. I think the time in the grave gave him some opportunities to think and breathe. And he's like, all right, guys, we'll be okay. We'll play a little bit more calmly when I respawn, because I don't think they can afford another bad fight where they end up losing, especially this Terrorblade.
Yeah, and RoboZ, he definitely has the feeling by now that the game is just playable with BKB. No, don't smoke. Okay. I was finally happy to see him farming because he really needs that BKB. Otherwise, he's just like one shot with the Bloodthorn. And he was so close to that item, and he's been close to it since 5 minutes, but he's just dying over and over.
Okay, Astini, check this out, right? So, remember when you were super far behind and you couldn't get Maelstrom? And then he got that triple kill, and then he had Maelstrom immediately afterwards, right? So, if he just gets another triple kill, then he'll just have BKB. I literally see no problem with this plan here. Like, you know, just kill the whole enemy team and get the free item. It's awesome.
Or he just die again and delays for more 2 minutes the item because like he's not farming for the last minute trying to find a kill, and his hero can be everywhere in the map farming. There's like amazing wave on top lane that could be his farm. There's jungle farm. Yeah.
Just not finding anything from himself right now.
You go for a 5-man smoke under a tier 2 tower. Like, of course, the other team has minimap. They can just look at it and they see the 3 waves of their selves are pushing. Even against a TB and Ember, they know something's wrong.
Yeah.
They can feel the smell of that smoke from far, far away.
They're all playing close together. Oh no, Moonlight Shadow. Draken in a dangerous place. And, okay, does manage to get off the BKB. The vision, thanks to the sentry, does allow him to see that they're coming for him here. And they manage to kill the Hoodwink elsewhere. Ravage now coming in from Mariano. They've managed to melt down Draken. But here's Burner going in on the fight. Eye of Skadi turning in the right clicks. They do manage to take out the Sven in the grave with no buyback. The question is, can Burner get out of here? Stunned out by the homing missile. Robo Z creating space by jumping onto the 2 supports. Oh no! Sacred Arrow onto Burner, but they can't get there for access to the anchor smash. He tried his best on the Tidehunter. Couldn't make it happen. Dies and drops the gem. Everything turning to misery in a heartbeat. Why did they take the fight? They saw him use BKB on Draken. Why didn't he just pop BKB and walk away from the arena here? Oh gosh. Parker with the hyper aggression. They end up losing out everything there, Astini.
Yeah, and PP just had a solo kill at the Hoodwink, so he used Cataclysm for that. So the Cataclysm was wasted 1 second within the team fight and there was no Invoker. It was an easy decision for this Sven to just back off there and get happy that PP had 1 pick off. But no, they decided to take the fight, and I must say, amazing play by Saxyogi. TB was stunned, and like Tidehunter, first he got silenced, so he tried to walk for that last hit on TB, but he was just body blocking the Tidehunter. Such a godlike play that saves Berna.
Yeah, truly incredible stuff that we see here from the Grimstroke. And anybody watching right now, it behooves you to clip that, because we need to say a shout out to the Grimstroke. Sexy Ogoye doing amazing stuff by making sure that the Terrorblade survives that fight. It's a very different game if Terrorblade dies, but Terrorblade stays alive. Now they get to go potentially kill Gyro and still move in for a Roshan. Big man's not up just yet. 30 seconds before he returns. It's a fairly long respawn timer here, but Infinity don't feel like they'll be able to fight it off even when he does come back online, and they could have just chilled. Just exactly like what you were saying. Both teams just incapable at this point in time of taking the, not going all in. Everything has to be, we're fighting right now. This is our last fight we're ever going to take. Utilize all our spells, send all our heroes, pop all the BKBs. Hasn't been working out for them, and oh, Pamplona. Nice leap away from the arena. Inkswell also will not connect. PP now has BKB for protection. They do manage to blink away on Mariano as well. They can't protect the tier 2 tower, but they do manage to keep their heroes alive.
Yeah, and I was for a while worried with Balrogs if they just wanted to go all in again, as all teams are doing. Because if they dive here, they had buyback on Invoker and Tidehunter. So even though they can get that kill, you just buy back and turn the fight. Yeah. So they need to be careful here.
Look where Parker is. He's making a very deep rap attempt. Oh, Burner. Okay, they get out the BKB, the right clicks. Mariano, buyback. You have to buy back. You don't have an option. Insta buyback from the Tidehunter here. Wants to return into the fray. Ooh, a little bit of lag spike is going to be connecting, as we're about to see a fight start around the Roshan pit. And if this tornado connects, if Mariano was here, they could easily jump in. It would be an amazing opportunity for a Ravage, but without him, it's just going to be a tornado connection. However, though, Astini, Burner doesn't have BKB anymore. This is suddenly a very dangerous place to be, because there's Orchids, there's Cataclysms, there's Ravages, there's cooldowns, there's Sacred Arrows. Despite RoboZ still having BKB, Draken still having BKB. Draken doesn't have Arena. They don't have access to this BKB on Burner. Do they have to leave this pit? Do they take the risk of trying to force the Aegis?
I'll say something that might sound stupid, but the best move here for Infinity is wait till they actually kill the Roche, and then you just fight and kill TB twice without the meta. Because TB is not the best Aegis carrier, because I think they can steal the Roche even without BKB because he has Butterfly.
Yeah.
So he's safe from that right click. Of course, there's still damage with the Blue Thorn that you're gonna have True Strike, but he's not that easy of a target because he has teammates to protect him. He has Green Stroke with the Soulbind, he has a Force Staff. He has the tools on his team to survive even without BKB.
Balrog Esports.
But Infinity, they're doing well. They need to wait for that meta, and they are doing that very well. Now things look great for Infinity, to be honest.
Meta just finished. God Strength is up from Parker, and they're inside the picture. Draken still doesn't have... Oh, he just got the ultimate back now. Soulbind going out onto the two cores, and a BKB will emerge. Sven takes the Aegis. There was a Ravage on the other side of the fight. It caught Parker. It caught Robo D, rather. He almost died, but he gets off the BKB. Parker, who else will he be able to jump on now after this Draken hero is dead? He's thinking about the Grimstroke, but they'll go for the easier kill first onto the Toadwink, eliminating him from the fight. TB already TP'd out. Burner saw that it was a lost cause. They do finally manage to remove this Grimstroke 2 from the fray, but ultimately Infinity doing the right thing. Do exactly what you say. Wait for meta to go down. They don't have meta. We have God Strength. We are stronger. We take the Aegis. We get the Aghanim Shard. We take the fight as well. And now potentially we're looking to take tier 2 towers because we also want to take your outposts.
Yeah, and that's a good example of what I was mentioned that could have happened in the top team fight. You just use your spells to kill a hero that has buyback.
Yeah.
So Mariano, he was clever enough to, let's say, die. And then his death was really worth because the BKB from TB made him care to fight. And Infinity, they had the patience. They took the deep breath. Oh, I love it.
It looks like the key here, Astini, is that one of the core heroes needs to die, spend some time in the fountain, needs to die like in a very frivolous way, spend some time in the fountain and be like, okay, I don't want to die like that again. What do we need to do to make sure that doesn't happen? Okay, guys, here's the plan. So that time around, it was Mariano. You know, before we saw Balrogs, it was Robo Z that died like that, and then he led his team to success. Mariano makes it happen this time. However, it does feel like the success for Infinity might be a bit more long-lasting than it was for Balrogs. We have a large suite of items that are being queued up for Infinity, and they're not too far away from. Double Ravage will be available for Mariano. This Invoker also going for double Cataclysm, double BKB, double Hex. It's going to be available. And the Sven, look what he's got here. Full Satanic. So even if you are able to survive the initial salvo of right-click damage and start right-clicking him back as TB, you have a long way to punch through now that he has the Satanic, and it's a lot easier for him to keep this right click up with the Swift Blink because he's got a ton of additional agi going for himself.
Yeah, Invoker's so strong. For a while I stopped looking at PP, and now that you look at him with the BKB Dagger Aghanim Vice, he's just so strong that Midas pay off so well. And of course, not just a Midas guy. Don't rush Midas and think you're gonna have all items. He's 10, 3, 17. So he's part of 27 of the 30 kills of his team, so active in the map. Also split pushing the lines. That's the next thing they should take care of because they're against a TB. So it's quite hard to push against a TB because that wave pushing is so hard because you always have one lane pushing against you as they do on the top lane now. Also RoboZ going there, and Balrogs, that's the room they have for some outplay. Just keep splitting the map or go for a kill on Parker.
Well, Parker just popped BKB, God Strength, went onto the high ground so they could take the lane of Rax, and they pop. This is so great. What counterplay do you have against this? They just use Moonlight Shadow, they get out. They know that even with Terrorblade, you don't have enough damage to kill Parker through the BKB Alacrity before he takes the buildings, and they just rinse through a straight up lane of Rax with no counterplay, no response. Balrogs, they even drew back RoboZ. You were literally talking about how he's split pushing this map, opening up space for them, and he came back to try and make sure that the base stayed alive, but wound up being a wasted rotation. Does still find a quick catch here onto this gyro. They're hoping to be able to find that kill as Draken also finds Pamplona. You hate to see it. Missed the indecision and misdirection ends up punishing Balrogs, and because of that, they don't get any kill despite being able to find stuns onto both supports at different times.
Yeah, and meta is over, so if I'm Infinity here, I just run down mid. Like, literally run down mid because you get your protector wave. That's the thing you should be worried about. If you're not walking together with your lane, so like Sven's farming jungle, Invokers looking for pickoffs, then you might not win the game. But if you protect your lane, there's no meta, there's no way they can fight into that.
Yeah. PP. About to get the refresher orb as well, so the combo is fully online. They do have a Terrorblade picking up Satanic, however, you know, he's sitting with a lot of gold in the inventory, ready and waiting to be able to buy back into this game in the event that he dies. However, it does not feel like he's going to have the full chance to use a lot of this. Invoker can pretty much chain disable you alone now. That's really scary that PP is capable of doing so. And Terrorblade, they might need to find a Lincoln Sphere somewhere on this team here, Astini, or a Lotus Orb or something. Just some way to be able to dispel the initiation that's going to come from this Invoker. Otherwise, Burner does feel like he's going to have a bit of a hard time in these upcoming fights for himself.
Yeah, Burna's going for the refresher, so he has the double BKB. Usually you see TB is going for the Agony, so you have that extra meta. But he really feels like what he's needing here is being able to have BKB, because without BKB he's just dead. And yeah, the team could maybe build a Lincoln Sphere to help him, but it's such an expensive item.
Yep.
And they go for the smoke. Aegis is expired. If you look at buyback status, Invoker doesn't have one, Tide doesn't, so those could be good kills. The Gyro is just like, he doesn't care.
Yep. How many deaths has Gyro put in this game like this, where you're just tanking the gank? 12 deaths so far for the Gyro, but it still doesn't feel like he's far behind at all. And they might find Parker here, but maybe this is an overextension from RoboZ. There is a BKB active from him, dodging the first Ravage from Mariano. And now they got the Soul Bind onto both Parker as well as PP. But the turnaround, Cataclysm, Ravage, Parker with the right clicks. Terrorblade down and out, Dragon's gonna follow him. They just didn't have the damage. They got the spells off, they got the connections. They thought they had it, but Terrorblade wasn't actually allowed to just sit there right-clicking out, and because he's not allowed to do that, he dies and has to watch the rest of his team doing the same. All four dead, make that 5, because Parker wants the whole hog, chases down the squirrel, eats it for breakfast. It's a full 5-hero wipe, and they lost, Astini, absolutely nothing. Just took that fight clean.
Yeah. That's a play that I try to explain to teams I coach that makes absolutely no sense. It's just like your brain, anxiety, I want to get out of this game, so let's lose fast. Because your smoking to enemy triangle makes absolutely zero sense at that point of the game. So yeah. I feel bad for them because they're super good players, but seems just like they're under stress and they want to get rid of it.
Well, one of the ways to be able to get rid of that stress for yourself here, Astini, is to defend the high ground by having to buy back on 4 different heroes. The only hero who did not buy back was Draken, only because he lacks it, but every single other person utilized this. And now you're in this ultra precarious situation, right? Infinity knows that over the next 7 minutes, all they have to do to not lose the game is just make sure somebody has buyback. And then you're always in a good position. And oh no way does this Roche spawn right now. Okay, let's see. Double damage rune. Parker's in the pit. How long? That's not long at all, but at least it's long enough for the double damage to expire. Thank goodness. Thought Roshan was going to be, you know, just gifting himself towards infinity. However, the Scrimstroke definitely is doing that. Just going to be given away. Parker didn't even need to actually chase him for the kill. The Soul Rend from this Bloodthorn would have killed him. And they also catch RoboZ. No! How did that happen? Blink Hex from PP. That's how it happened. And he's not done just yet. His Tornado caught Draken. His Cold Snap cancels Draken's CP attempt. Dude, he's just... PP, man. PP. Doing everything to enable his team to get into a winning position. And 100 seconds, no Ember. What's the option here, Astini? How do you stay in this game without RoboZ?
Honest answer? Because you don't. You don't. They can even do damage through the backdoor protection here.
Yep. They're gonna try for one last Hail Mary though. Burner putting damage onto Parker, but Parker is taking literally no damage after he activates Satanic. And now PP's able to set up the Hex. Second Ravage from Mariano. That's just it. That's done. There's no way out of this. Well, there is one way out of this situation, and that's just calling GG. Balrog Esports, despite having a different style brought to the table, despite having this TB, despite having Robo Z on his Ember, doing everything he could, ultimately just was not enough. And Infinity, they take this 2-0 clean as a whistle here, Astini. What a performance. What a performance. What a performance coming in right now from the side of Infinity.
Very well played by Infinity. So every time we try to point someone as a favorite, seems like they start losing. So I will not jinx Infinity. I'll just say, okay, they're fine. They might win. Because we are like, okay, Wolf, they're the favorites. And then they lose to Balrogs. Okay, now Balrogs, they're the favorites. And they lose to Infinity. I'm scared if we say Infinity is the favorite, they might just lose their next match. And I don't want to jinx them because they're playing so well. And I would really love to see they show this Dota at Division I. I'm very excited to see their next matches.
Yeah, they looked really solid in this game. They now 3-0 up in the group. They're at the very top, and they're not just at the top in the situation where there's other teams underneath them who seem close. They're at the top now emphatically, right? They've opened up the gap a little bit. Balrogs is 2-1 as a result of this matchup. Infinity being 3-0 means that you just have to win 2 more matches, and then it starts to look almost locked in for you, and you're always going to be in contention for that top 2 spot, provided you do so. They're looking very good as well. They've defeated all the teams that look like heavy favorites, and honestly, the way they played this game was really impressive. They had a lot of good ideas in both different drafts. That's one thing I always love to see, right? It's one thing if a team is winning with one strategy, Parker TA killing everything, it is what it is, but he really hard carried game 1. Game 2, a bit of a rougher showing. He started to show up later in the game. However, PP went out of this world on the level. At some point, you mentioned that he was involved in 27 of the team's 30 kills. That's 90% kill involvement at that point. He ends the game 13, 3, and 21. Are you kidding me? How is that even possible, right? Only 6 kills that his team got in this game that he wasn't directly involved in. So PP, stellar performance from him. And you love to see when the team has 2 different players, not just 2 different drafts, but 2 different players they can rely on and say, you do everything for us. And he did it amazingly. So Infinity, definitely congratulations for them. But for Balrog Esports, outside of the curse, right? What do you think they could have done differently here? Outside of, there were some draft issues, of course, but what do you think the biggest takeaways? If you're the coach right now, you have to sit the team down. You have to figure out what you could have done to rather win the matchup. What would you be telling them at this point in time?
I would show the overextension that the team made on multiple team fights. Talk a little bit about the buyback importance, that you want to fight with those buybacks. You want to fight under somewhere you can TP with those buybacks, because if you're gonna smoke to enemy triangle, then you do 5 buybacks, you're stuck at your base. If you do it at your base, it's a 10 against 5 team fight that you can win. If it's under a post you control, something like this. So they need to play more calmly and understand where they want to take team fights, because they do fight well. They are great players. They have good laning phase, good mechanics, some good decision making, but those crucial decisions, there's still a good room for improvement.
Well, with those wise words from Astini, and hopefully Balrog will take those to heart. Room for improvement always. Hell, even for Infinity, the team that won, there's still always room for improvement, especially if they're serious about their journey into the upper division, their journey potentially into the second major, and their journey, hopefully, towards TI. We'll see if they can make that full run. For now, they can rest on their laurels, just be happy with their flowers, and start to build the steam needed to get into the upper division. That will, sadly though, wrap it up for us here, casting this game with this wonderful 2-0 victory. However, we're not done just yet. There's still more Dota to come. The upper division of the South American DPC will continue very, very shortly, right here on this channel, so you don't have to go anywhere. Just keep it locked, chill, relax. That game is going to be in a little bit of time though, since Infinity, with this very fast victory, have given us a bit of a break in between. So we have about another 50 minutes before we go live yet again. And when we return after that, we will be on panel, myself and Astini. Will not be in the game itself. However, you already heard the prophecies from Astini. So you know full well that if he's on panel, it'll be even more prescient from him. And you certainly do not want to miss it. This has been the lower division. Balrogs Esports go down a 0-2 to the inside of Infinity. And we'll see how the rest of the league shapes up. Make sure you don't miss out. Make sure that you are following the homeboy Astini. Where can the people find you before we go out here? Exactly how, if they want to track down more of your wisdom and knowledge here, Astini, what do the people need to do to get to you?
That's my @ on Twitter, Felipe Astini. Yeah, they can find me on Twitter, and of course, they can find me here at the EPOS Gaming Cast. So yeah, follow the channel because I plan to be back here many more times.
Well, I don't think you have a choice, good sir. We're dragging you back here, kicking and screaming, whether you like it or not. And with that, we're going to go out. Make sure you follow me as well. You can see the handle beneath me too. And when we return, it's going to be some upper division action. Till then, make sure to tell someone in your life that you love them. Drink some water, go take a walk. And when we come back, more incredible Dota 2 action.